All right, it's a new day, and I'm really excited about it. It's spackle day. I'm gonna get this room shaped up, ready for finishes. Keep watching. My name's Deric. This is my wife, Jenya. We bought a fixer-upper. We're remodeling this house one day at a time, all while living in it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to get all the latest videos to track our progress. You'll find lots of how-to videos with step-by-step instructions to help you with your next do-it-yourself project. Welcome to the Rundown Reborn channel. All right, so the room's looking in great shape. Got my fan up, got my ceilings in place. All the walls are prepped. They're all screwed up, nice and tight. Got my seam tapes up, seam mesh is in place, and we're ready for joint compound. Some folks call it spackle, mud, whatever you want to call it. It needs to go up in place. It's not very hard, just take some time. All right, so here's what you're gonna need to do your own spackle project. Drywall work is not difficult, and it's really not that expensive from a material standpoint. So drywall is about $6, $7 a sheet, depending on where you get it. The mud here is $30, $40. To do a room, you're talking maybe a couple $100. The tools, once you have them, they're gonna last forever, pretty much if you keep them clean. What I've got here is a pan. It's you'll put the mud in here and scoop out with that. I've got a taping knife here. I can use this for long verticals where I need a little bit extra mud. I've got a putty knife here, or broad knife, and this is like for screw holes, and this is probably the one I'll use the most. Got a large trowel here for large areas where I have a lot of mud I need to spread around and get smooth. I've got a big old 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to be doing the whole house eventually, so if you have a small project, you can get like a 1-gallon bucket. It just depends on how much you need. It's called joint compound, technically. This is a lightweight, fast drying. Really, if this is as a do-it-yourself project, it's a great way to save a ton of money. Now your plaster guys, drywall guys, they're really good at this. Pros, they can do it really fast. They're gonna bring a team in, knock out a whole house in a day probably, with very limited need for sanding. Do-it-yourselfer, you might have to do some extra sanding. It's really a skill that as you do it more and more, you're gonna get smoother with your layouts. Best thing is, if you're gonna do a whole house, start in an area where it's less conspicuous, get some practice, and then move on to like the living room where you're gonna see it. Really, it's a matter of if you don't get it on even and smooth, it just requires more sanding to get it there, and maybe extra coats. So it might take you more time if you're not that skilled at it, but you can still get to the end and save a ton of money. All right, I'm about half done with this room, and so far it's been going pretty smooth. My main tool here is about a 6-inch knife, and I'm just using that to fill in the joints as best as I can. Really, the priority is just trying to get the cracks filled in, get the mesh covered up, but it's not about making a glass surface. It's about just getting the holes filled, trying to smooth it out as best you can to reduce your amount of sanding that you need to do. So I'm gonna keep going and get this room finished up on the first pass. All right, so I'm in my last corner here. Do a little how-to here. Basically, you want to get a good wad of mud. Get that on your trowel here and just press that into the joint. Both sides for a corner. I just want to press some mud in there, plenty of it. And then I'm going to come down one side. I'd like to put that curved edge against the wall instead of the sharp point. And just pull that mud right down the wall, smooth it out on both edges. Now it leaves a little bit of a groove on one side when you do the second side. But remember, this is the rough coat. So I'm just trying to smooth it out as best I can. Get any divots out. Try to get that nylon mesh covered up. So I'm going to press that in here. Work my way into the side seams. Use the mud. It's cheap. I just picked some more up today. It's like 15 bucks for a 5-gallon bucket. So that's smoothed out. It's not perfect. There's a few ridges here and there, but we'll get that smoothed out on the second coat. So for a horizontal, I'm just going to press some of that mud into the joint and fill that groove. And try to even it out as best I can. Sometimes you gotta go vertical, get it kind of smoothed out. Get the excess off the wall. And just work that out nice and smooth. I've got it to the point where I can't see the mesh. For a screw hole, you just put a little dollop on there. In that case, it didn't quite cover the screw. I'm gonna have to come back and push that screw down a little deeper. It's not that hard. Save a ton of money doing this yourself. You can do it too. Just takes a little practice. By the time you finish your first room, you're gonna be a pro at this. So I just have this last corner, a little bit of wall over here, a little bit of ceiling. I've got my first pass all done. Time to finish up. Well, I finished up my first coat. I'm right here at the final corner, spreading this out. It didn't go too bad. Pretty quick actually, I think. And really happy with the result. So, as I smooth out this last corner, I'm gonna let all this set overnight and let it dry really good, get hard, and I'll get back at it the next day and we'll do a second coat. So I'll be back here shortly. We'll get started with that second round.